Hey there, my name is Max. I'm an aspiring filmmaker, and in today's video we're going to have a look at a really nice vintage lens, the Super Takuma 55mm 1.8. I think that the Takuma lenses are at a pretty unique place because for vintage lenses they are still pretty cheap, and as you probably know, vintage lenses became very popular over the last couple of years. And with popular, I also mean much more expensive. It's probably a really good idea to buy a Takuma lens right now because they're still pretty cheap. I mean, you can get the 55mm for around 150 euros, and you can get a 35mm for around 400 euros. And it's just a matter of time before they are going to explode in price, just as the Canon FDs or the Pentax Zeiss lenses and the Leica R lenses, which are crazy expensive now. What's also pretty great about the Takuma lenses is the Pentax K mount and the M42 mount. They come in two different versions, so be aware of that. But you can pretty much adapt these mounts to every camera. So you can adapt them to Canon EF, you can adapt them to E-mount, you can adapt them to Micro Four Thirds, Leica, whatever. And you can just get a cheap adapter for 20 bucks on eBay or Amazon and just put it on the back of the lens. And yeah, it will work great with your camera. Another great feature of this lens for filmmakers is that it has a focus throw of 270 degrees, which is a really long focus throw with hard stops at both ends. So it'll be easier for you to use a follow focus system or keep your subject in focus in general. In terms of image quality, you have to keep in mind that this is a vintage lens, so it's not as sharp as a modern lens like the Sigma 18-35. But for me, it's sharp enough. If you close it down to f2.8, it will give you a really crisp image. All the way open at 1.8, it will lose quite a bit of sharpness. This lens will give you a pretty low contrast image and also really low levels of saturation. And if you're filming with it in direct sunlight, you will lose even more contrast. But maybe that's something you're after. So I think it all comes down to taste. The bokeh of this lens is pretty unique. It's pretty busy and pretty nervous. So it will give you a pretty outstanding image, a really unique image. Maybe this is not something for every situation, but yeah, I think it's great to have a lens like this in your setup because it can give you really interesting results. So if you're wondering now if a lens like this is good enough to film something like a commercial or a paid project, I would say yes, because just recently we shot a beer commercial with it, and for me it turned out just fine and the client really liked it. I will put a link of this lens and the EF adapter down in the video description. And now I'm going to show you a comparison between the Takuma and the Canon 17-55, which is a more modern lens. By the way, we already made a review of this lens on this channel if you're interested in that. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.